What is going on, guys? Daniel Simpson here back with another video today, and in today's video we're going to be going over a common account that people know about but don't really know what it is, and that is the 401k. So in today's video I'm going to be explaining the 401k, what it is, and if it benefits you as an individual. But before we go ahead and explain that, I want you guys to go ahead and down below smash that like button. It really helps the channel out if you enjoy the content. And let's get right into the video. A 401k is a retirement account offered by most jobs or employers. Now, the 401k is offered through most jobs and employers simply because it is bad for your employers or jobs to offer what's known as a pension. You know, back in our grandparents' days, they would get a pension for working hard enough and long enough, where a pension is basically a payment plan designed by your job to pay for someone's retirement until they basically die. Now, that was good news for you as an employee because you were guaranteed, money after you retire. But that was bad for your boss or your employer because they had to dish out money every single month, even though you were not working anymore for them. So an alternative to a pension plan, and what's become very popular nowadays, is called the 401k, because it saves them money, at the same time also kind of helping you with retirement. What is a 401k? A 401k is a retirement account, like I said, offered through most employers, meant to hold investments and assets within the account until you retire and decide to pull that money out, hopefully making some money from those investments in that account. As you get paid, with most employers, they will tell you before or after a certain amount of time, they'll give you the option to go ahead and open a 401k with them. And with the 401k, as you get paid, you can contribute to that account, whether that be through a percentage of your check, a specified amount from your check, and whichever one of those options you choose. Some employers even offer what's called a company match. So if you were to say take $100 from every single check that you were to contribute to the 401k, your employer will go ahead and match that amount. So if you put in $100, your employer puts in $100 for a total of $200, therefore helping you speed up the amount of money and the process of building that 401k, and helping you invest in multiple assets a lot faster, if that makes sense. Obviously it's up to a specified amount, because you can't expect to put in your entire check every single month for an entire year. Usually they do have a cap on that. Every employer is different. But if you do decide to get a 401k, the company match, you should always take it because it's basically free money. With that money in that account, basically what you are giving that money time to do is compound and build over time as those assets begin to grow and the amount of money begins to grow within the account. It's kind of like an ongoing cycle where you put more money in, and then that money makes you more money, and then from there that money makes you more money, and it's just a snowball effect all the way up until you retire, and at which point you can then take out all the money that you've compounded and invested to then use for retirement, again, instead of a pension, because pensions are no longer offered by many jobs or employers. When it comes to the 401k, it is not the perfect account. There is no perfect account for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the pros and some of the cons of the 401k. So first we're going to start with the pros, because that's obviously the good, and we'll save the bad for last. So with the 401k, it is I guess you could call it a tax advantage account, meaning the contributions that you put into your 401k, through your check or through the specified amount, whichever way you decide to put money into the 401k, it's gonna go in pre-tax. So say you get your check, instead of the US government taking out their taxes from that check, they're gonna go ahead and not take out any taxes since it's going into the 401k. So that money is pre-tax, meaning you don't pay tax on the money going into the account. So as an example, let's say you make 40 grand a year and you contribute say $5,000 a year towards the 401k, leaving you with $35,000. So since the money goes in pre-tax, that $5,000 now in the 401k account will not count towards your end of year taxes, meaning instead of paying taxes on 40 grand at the end of the year, you will only pay taxes on $35,000 at the end of the year. Another pro to the 401k account is obviously the employer match. Again, like I said before, that is free money that you are basically getting from your employer to help contribute to that 401k account so that you don't have to do it all alone. Another one is that the 401k account has high contribution limits as compared to other investment accounts or retirement accounts. For 2019, the maximum contribution limit is $19,000. And for the upcoming year in 2020, that contribution limit will go up $500. So from $19,000 to now $19,500 for the year of 2020 as the maximum contribution amount. So there we have it. There are some pros for the 401k account. Now the 401k, like I said, it's not a perfect account. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the cons or the bad of the 401k account. The first con for the 401k account is that the 401k account, since it's offered through your employer, most of the time, or actually a majority of the time, your employer is not managing the investments within the account. They will usually go through a bank, a fund manager, or a firm to go ahead and manage those assets within the account, meaning you will not be able to choose what you want that money to be invested in. You're kind of just going off the whim of someone else to hopefully make a return for you, so that by the time you're 65, you actually have some money to retire and live off of until, I guess, you pass. So that's a con. You're not able to choose your own investments. Your investments are chosen for you. Now, if you're a hands-off kind of person and it doesn't really matter to you, then that's fine. But let's go ahead and continue on with that fact to the next con, which is since those funds are being managed for you, no one's going to do it for free, So a bank or firm or a fund manager, whoever's managing the account for you, will obviously have to take out fees in order to pay for their services of managing your account. And those fees can range anywhere between, I can't really give a number because those fees can be just absurd, but usually I'd say about 1% of the account would be a general fee, meaning that if you have a $100,000 401k account, you're giving up $1,000 in fees. So with that, you really don't know what you're investing in. You don't know how much you're paying in fees. So those are two cons for the 401k. Moving on to the next thing, which is back to the taxes. The taxes were a pro, but they're also a con, because at the end of your 401, at the end of your employment, when you decide to retire and actually start taking the money out of the account, you will now have to pay taxes on that money. Okay, that money is taxed, is not taxed when you put it in, but at the end, when it's time to retire, you do get taxed on that money when it is time to take it out. So depending on how much money is in the account, that's how much you'll be taxed on. And depending on the tax bracket in the future, it could really, take a lot of money out of that account. So not only are you paying for someone to manage your account, you're also paying the U.S. government, because you have to pay taxes on that account, or on the contributions and the profits made once you do retire. And the last con would be if you were to try and take out the money early. If you're in a pinch and you need the money, you can't wait to retirement, you try to take it out early, you will get a penalty for trying to you will get a penalty for taking that money out early, as well as also being taxed on top of that. So, you really can't take that money out. It's kind of locked in the account until you retire. But either way, those are the cons for the 401k. In my opinion, the 401k, it is not the best account, but it is better than having no investment account at all. And the 401k, in my opinion, is best suited for someone who doesn't have any investments at all and is looking for a hands-off approach to investing. If you don't want to look at any stocks, you don't want to see what you can put in the account, what will give you the best return. This is a completely hands off, just take my money and do what you want with it, and I hopefully make a return type of person. If you're that type of person, then the 401k is a good option for you. So the 401k is a good investment account to start with, especially if you have none at all and you're just hearing about investment accounts for the first time, especially because majority of people will hear about 401ks through their jobs. But there are alternatives, which I will go through in another video, but this is all explaining the 401k and how it works. So I hope you guys got some good information and insight to how a 401k works. Hopefully I explained it, well enough for a lot of you to understand. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll answer as best I can. If you did like the video, again, go ahead and smash that like button. It really does help out the channel grow. And if you like the content, you want to see more, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Signing out.